for the 6th time on the channel, it is time for us to go racing on my birthday, the 2025 NR2003 birthday bash, and this is one of the longest running special events on the channel. And we are back at one of the best racetracks in the world of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 30 laps of action, a pit stop around halfway, and we'll see on who ends up being the race winner here today and join Bradley Weem and Dylan Matthews as active drivers in this field to join the winners list of the birthday bash. It is the 2025 birthday bash here on NS Racing 97 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What's up, everyone? It's the boy NS Racing 97, aka Nathan Stapleton, and welcome to the Brickyard. Always great to come to this racetrack, one of the best racetracks in the world, and that's not just me being biased because I am an hour away from this place. This is spectacular, a famous racetrack. So many fantastic moments has happened here on the channel at this track and in real life, and you're set for another one here today for the birthday bash. Aside for in July when we have the Christmas National Series, Red Line Oil Cup Series, and JBL Cup Series, all here in July. But before then, we are here for the birthday bash, and it's gonna be a fun one. 30 laps of action with a pit stop in between. And we got Caleb's up here in the booth once again, and welcome to the Brickyard.
I'm really excited to be up here in the booth for this race. Last year's race here was a lot of fun. It was pretty chaotic, so it'll definitely be interesting to see how this year's race will compare the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Like you said, it's the greatest racetrack in the world, and I mean there's no real bias to that at all. I mean, if you go to the track, it'll literally say, like, I'm pretty sure on the front stretch, the greatest racetrack in the world. So sounds good enough to me. But yeah, it's going to be a spectacular race here at the spectacular racetrack, no doubt about that. And yeah, it's really interesting to see how it goes down, because you never really know what you're going to get from this racetrack. It could be really chaotic like we saw last year. It could be pretty calm here, but besides that, I think we're going to be seeing some great racing here today. That is definitely for certain.
Oh yeah, 100%. This racetrack, the bare minimum, we will see some fantastic racing here today. Could see a couple cautions, could see it go caution free. We don't really know what to expect, but this racetrack, it is very good, and this is why we have the birthday bash here every year for the last couple of years. But I'm gonna ask you this, Caleb. Normally, we see this race go and be where you want it to be at the front, especially at the Brickyard. Track position could mean something, that's why we did qualifying yesterday. However, Dylan Matthews won this race all the way back in 26th position last year. So, do you think track position is really going to matter? Or do you think it might not matter if things get wild?
I think track position is definitely going to play in the advantage of a lot of these guys starting up towards the front of the field, but I definitely don't think it's going to be the only factor that goes into this, like Dylan Matthews showed us in last year's race. I feel like strategy is definitely also going to come into play, as we saw Matthews pull off a great strategy last year, and in result of that, ended up with good track position. So I think at the end of the day, track position is definitely what you want, but there is lots of different ways of getting that, whether it's starting up towards the front, making your way up towards the front, or maybe rolling the dice a little bit, playing some strategy games, and making your way up to the front through there. There's a lot of things you can do here from Indy, but ultimately, the track position is what's going up for grabs, and it'll be interesting to see what everybody will be trying to do to get that, and who we will see end up with getting the track position here as this race goes along.
Absolutely, and we'll see if track position ends up being the name of the game, or if things get wild and someone deep in the field can get the job done. Yesterday we had qualifying, and it's a unique format, 2-21 car groups, and then we had a Fast 10 shootout. That was a lot of fun, a little bit of a trial one maybe for next year. But on the pole is Juan Connington in the number 17 fastest in the Fast 10 shootout, and alongside him is the number 32 of Carson Miller. Rolling number 2 is Joshua Neely, and the number 22 and the number 11 of Ryan Dewani. Rolling number 3 is vocal to one, the Auto Cup win and the JBL Cup Series earlier this year, and Weinlow in 18. Jack Haas in the number 77 and Philip Torres in the number 44. And then Nico same deal, and Duncan Moore rounds out the top 10. And like I said yesterday, there are some strong names starting deep in the field here in this one. Right there, Camel, Eli Bright, Taylor Pullen still a little bit behind in the 15th position. Travis Crampton still deep in the field. Alexander Loeb wants a minute. Bradley Weem. Dylan Matthews still 25th instead of 26th. Jordan Stout. So it's going to be very interesting on who can capitalize on the trap position and who can win the birthday bash. This is a race celebrating my 23rd birthday here today, but this is more than just that. This race is quickly becoming iconic for the racing that we see on this 2.5 mile rectangle racetrack. And I'm going to leave it up to you, Caleb. This race is normally chaotic, but who do you think will win the 2025 NR2003 birthday bash?
Definitely, probably could be anybody, but I think I'm going to go there a couple rows back with the number 77 of Jack Haas. We got a good starting position there, starting on the inside of row number 4, and I know Jack Haas, these special events really seem to kind of favor that driver, so I think he might have a pretty good shot here at getting this one here today.
Bad pick, of course. Jack Haas is a former Ultra Romance 500 using a different name, but he still has that, technically, kinda, sorta. But he is a thing when it comes to these special events. Of course, one was specifically 500, won the prelude to the 10th anniversary of HE the channel, and he's looking to maybe get a birthday bash win to the name, and he's in a good spot, starting 7th in the number 77 here today. But we'll see what ends up happening. 42 colors of the best drivers on the channel. Right now, we got some drivers from all 3 series: Red Line Oil Cup Series, JBL Cup Series, and the Krispy Kreme National Series. A few drivers made their first starts this weekend as well. But this is a very stacked field. Trap position will be king, but ultimately, if things get crazy, honestly, almost anybody can win, and I will not be surprised. Pace car will dive down onto pit road, and that will lead into the field into the hands of Ron Kennington and Carson Miller, the front row from qualifying yesterday. And, well, it's time to celebrate my 23rd birthday. When we first did this race, I was 16 years old back in 2018. And now in 2025, I am 23 years old on a very old game. We are green flag racing for the 2025 NR2003 birthday bash with Kennington out front. A great start from Warren Kennington. Won the pole yesterday, and he has a big lead on that number 1. Joshua Neely in the 2nd place position. And Jack Haas already from 7th to 3rd on 1 lap. Warren Adriani in the 4th position. Sam Dio in 5th. And here comes Taylor Pullen. I mentioned him just starting outside the top 10 in around 13th. Well, he is up front early on, and we're going to see this all day. We're going to see a ton of great action here. And Jack Haas is in the draft and closing in fast on Joshua Neely.
Tried to look to the inside there, couldn't quite get there. But yeah, you saw it there. The inside lane is absolutely where you want to be here around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as we're seeing by all these guys, especially Jack Haas, who, like you said, went from 7th to 3rd there on the opening lap, and starting to see some of those cars that started on the outside lane kind of slip back a little bit, including the 32, Carson Miller. Wants to try and find a pocket and get back down on the inside as quick as he possibly can, and now he's still stuck up there on the outside. As now here comes the 44 looking to the inside of Philip Torres. he's going to take that spot away. That inside lane is absolutely where you want to be. If you get stuck on that outside, it could definitely send you training it right to the back. But back up front, it's kind of spreading out just a little bit, and Ronald Kennington doing a good job of leading this race so far. But right now, he's got a bit of a mirror full of Joshua Neely, who's got a mirror full of Jack Haas.
And all three of these drivers pulling away, a Ford, a Dodge, and a Ford. And Neely might have a one down the front stretch here. The long front stretch, and he does side by side for the race. He's going to try and do a side draft, but he tucks out of line. And that's because we are under caution for the first time of the day. And it looks like it's the number 9 of Juan Garcia, unfortunately. And looks like that is
maybe with a little bit of damage there.
Maybe a little bit. Don't see a lot of damage for Juan Garcia, and that's unfortunate for the one of the two drivers that is tied for the all-time wins list. And now, Caleb, put on the crew chief hat on. It's about 16 to 18 laps on fuel. We only did 3 laps and we're on lap 4. If we pit now, they will have to pit again around lap 20. Do you see anyone pit, or do you think everyone's going to stay out here?
Definitely a good question. I think fresh tires here could definitely mean a lot, but at the same time, you're sacrificing a lot of track position, especially here early on in the race where tires will probably still mean a little bit, but probably won't make too much of a difference. However, we could see just about everybody come down, maybe make some slight adjustments to their cars, and just put on some fresh tires for the sake of it, but looks like everybody is going to stay out. Looks like just about everybody seems pretty confident with their cars, and I would say, though, the cars that were involved in that accident are probably going to come down the pit lane to fix the damage, and at that point, just why not? But it looks like they might be staying out as well, so it doesn't look like they have that much damage to their cars, and they definitely should be able to continue, and they might still be up to pace if they're staying on the racetrack, and someone who's not up to pace, unfortunately, is the 18 of Ryan Little, who's slow on the apron.
And it is a Tyler that went down on 18. Well, that's someone that's going to have to do a alternate strategy now. And for him, he's going to pit on lap 5 next time by, and he's going to be able to stay out till around lap 20 to lap 21. That's unfortunate. I'm surprised that Juan Garcia was able to stay out, but it doesn't look like he has any significant damage at all. And it looks like it might have just been a simple spin off turn 4. Let's go ahead and see what happened. We had the first caution early on in the 2025 birthday bash here at the Brickyard. Here we go, this happened. We have the first caution of the day in the 2025 birthday bash, and early on, Juan Garcia made a rookie mistake for a veteran went a blade too high off of turn number 4, and Hallie Anderson Jr. decided to fill the hole. And, well, 3 wide at Indy is a little bit sketchy, and especially off turn number 4. Got into the corner panel of the number 9. Got into Eric Alpha. And a squeeze play happens. And that's going to spin the number 9 of Juan Garcia around in the back of the field. But luckily, this is it. Travis Crampton's going to slow down and go up top. And then look at Eli Bright. He's going to swing it all the way to the left. And barely avoids the number 9 of Juan Garcia. Fantastic job from Eli Bright and Travis Crampton in the back of the field. 2 of the veterans on the channel. Record performance of a veteran. Tough play for Juan Garcia, but he should be able to be just fine for the rest of this race.
Well, you know what how the old saying goes. If you no longer go for a gap that exists, you are no longer a racing driver. Unfortunately, it doesn't really always end out well, as Anderson Jr. just tried to kind of shoot the middle there and got into the 9 of Juan Garcia and spun him around. And luckily, everybody did avoid. That was some spectacular wreck avoidance that we saw from all those guys, especially Eli Bright, just absolutely just wheeling that thing down to the inside to avoid setting that car. That was some fantastic stuff there. And, yeah, just a simple spin here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Nobody really hit anything, and everybody's going to be keeping it going, so everyone should be all right here. We have a couple of instances under caution, unfortunately, but everybody's pretty much clean here coming to the next restart here from Indy.
Yeah, for all things considered, that was a very clean caution. And like Caleb said, unfortunately the 18 Wino blew a tire, and then the number 1 of 12 Nathan had a fuel system issue under this caution period. Ron Kennington will lead us back to the green here, and let's go ahead and get back to the restart in the 2025 Birthday Bash. Welcome back to the Brickyard for the 2025 Birthday Bash, and looks like it was a simple spin for Juan Garcia. That's what me and Caleb kind of came up with. Of course, you already saw. Under this caution, the 18 of Wano had a tire go down, but he's going to be able to go back green with the rest of the field. And unfortunately, Travis Crampton in the number 1 also had a fuel system issue. You guys will see that on the corner of the screen before we go back green. He's going to get back out onto the racetrack though, so no one's going to be out. And it's going to be Ron Kennington, Joshua Neely, Chad Haas, Ryan Durrani, Nicholas Samadil, Tanner Pond, Local Dorn, Carson Miller, Philip Torres, and Duncan Moore, the top 10. B.B. Ruiz just outside the top 10. The 23 of Anthony Hernandez, Bucky Campbell, Ace Racer, and Chris Jericho rounding out the top 15. A early caution, a early single file restart, and we'll see what Kennington has up his sleeve. Still a long way to go, still got a pit stop left for everybody. And we are back in a great restart for the top 3, but a fairly good restart for Joshua Neely in the number 22.
Jack Haas tried to beat him to the punch there, but Neely's going to block him. And now Neely's to the inside of Ronald Kennington as they go through turn number 1, and is going to stay to the inside there, going through turn 2. And he's going to clear him there. Coming out of the corner, Jack Hasley going to try and follow him through. He's going to clear for the second position. Got a lot of movement going out throughout the rest of the top 10. You see the number 8 there trying to look to the inside of the 11 of Durrani, but Durrani's going to block him there going into turn number 3. And we also see Carson Miller there in the 32 getting stuck up on that outside once again. Man, Carson Miller's not had the best start to this race, and he continues to slip back there on the outside lane. Oh, actually, might get a good run here off of turn number 4. We can see these guys get some pretty decent jumps off of 4. We got another crash on turn number 4.
And this time it is Derek Hamill and the 26th of Aaron Abel. And the 10 of Campbell Moses destroyed.
Oh, goodness. That doesn't look good.
Not entirely sure what happened there, but that 10 is absolutely destroyed. And now, that's going to be another quick caution. And this is turning into last year's race a little bit. Not what we necessarily wanted to see, but now this is going to be even more interesting. Because now, if these guys pit, it will be maybe a little bit longer, maybe around lap 22. I would imagine these guys are still going to stay out. It's still only 8 laps in of 30. So I would imagine that these guys are still going to stay out here. Great restart from Joshua Neely. Great restart from Jack Haas. But a chaotic start to this one here in the Birthday Bash.
Definitely. That one definitely looked a lot bigger from the first one. Definitely interested to see what went down there in turn number 4. But it looks like once again everybody's just going to be staying out on the racetrack. This time, though, we might probably see some of the cars involved in that accident coming down pit lane. Because yeah, that looked like a lot bigger of a wreck than the first one that we saw earlier on in the race.
Oh yeah, much bigger. The 26 was involved, the 10, and then the 41 of Derek Hamill. Tough break. No one else is going to really pit though, so let's go ahead and see what happened to bring up the second caution of the day early on. And no, never mind. We're not going.
Oh, our leader!
We are not going to go and see what happened as Joshua Neely just had a tire down himself.
These cautions have just been mech fail bonanzas. Goodness gracious.
Both cautions, a driver inside the top 10 has blown a tire. And this time it is Joshua Neely, and now that will open up Jack Haas as the race leaders. And now, tough break for Joshua Neely, but let's go ahead and take a look at what happened for the second caution of the day early on in the Birthday Bash. Well, here we go. Shortly after the first restart we are gonna have a second one, and this is a bad angle. Unable gets tight in turn 3, gonna turn the number 10 of Campbell Marsh. This is almost like a IndyCar type one that we've seen in the ND250 on Alex's channel. And since the 10 all the way down into the inside, and he's gonna tap the inside wall. And this is going to be a terrible angle for the number 10. Splits everybody and a huge hit into the outside wall. Nowhere to go for Derek Hamill as well in number 41. And he's going to take a hit himself into the outside wall. But yeah, that is a bad angle. Luckily, it's not the speed of an IndyCar. But you're still going 150 when you hit that wall at a terrible angle. And that was why that we assumed that he had some roof damage, some massive side damage, and that was why. So, tough break for Campbell Marsh. And same with Dale Cameron and Aaron Abel. But that is what brought the second caution of the day shortly after our first restart of the day.
Pretty bad accident here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And going to see here off of turn number 3. Aaron Abel going to get into the 10 of Campbell Marsh, and they're both just going to shoot back up the racetrack like heat-seeking missiles. Unfortunately, Campbell Marsh is going to get a one-way ticket to the safer barrier, and Aaron Abel in the 26 is unfortunately going to take the 41 of Derek Hamill with him. It's a big accident here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and a really tough break there for everybody involved in that one.
Oh yeah, that was a terrible impact for Campbell Marsh right there. Doubly for Derek Hamill as well, had nowhere to go for the upcoming 26. And then, of course, under this caution period, Joshua Neely, unfortunately, another Goodyear moment happened, and he had a tire go down. So it will be drag costs, leading us back to the restart here. And let's see what happens when we go back green in the 2025 Birthday Bash. Welcome back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and, well, 2 early quick cautions here in the Birthday Bash, and kind of like last year, luckily we've not seen the big ones, but pretty sure Campbell Marsh in the number 10 took a wicked hit, as this car looked absolutely destroyed with roof damage and side damage galore. Luckily, the number 22 of Joshua Neely is going to be able to keep on going with a second tire issue on the second caution in a row. And Campbell Marsh is the only car out of this one. The 41 and the 26 are going to be able to keep on going. Jack Haas would be the race leader now. Kennington in second. Third is Ryan Durrani. Fourth is Nico Sandio. Fifth is Tanner Pun. Sixth is Logan Dorn. Seventh is Philip Torres. Eighth is the 88 of Duncan Ward. Ninth of Carlos Miller, trying to maybe not get stuck up top this time. And the man out of the top 10 is BP Ruiz. And then centralized outside the top 10, Anthony Hernandez, ace racer Nathan Buchanan, Lord development driver, the 55 of Andrew Miller. And then Bucky Campbell, running out the top 15. 2 quick yellows here in this one. Maybe third time is the charm, and we will have a nice long green flag 1. Still going to have a cycle of pit stops, and everyone has stayed out for the most part. A great restart from Jack Haas. Back
what
green,
a restart!
Back green with 20 laps to go. What a restart indeed. Here comes Sam Deal with a good restart of his own.
What a restart there from Jack Haas, and what a restart as well from Nicholas Samadio. Looking to the inside there, the 11 of Ryan Durrani trying to take that third position away. Gonna do so with ease there going through turn number 2, as now Durrani looking to try and fend off the 97 of Tanner Parton, but they're kind of trying to form a draft train on the inside there with Torres, but Durrani is going to stay clear there of the 97 for the time being. But up front, that 17 of Ronald Kennington, he's just going to get dragged right back to the back bumper of that 77. That draft is really, really strong in Indianapolis. And Samadio tried to take a peek there to the inside of the 17 of Kennington, but maybe had to check up a little bit there through the center of the corner, so we'll back off for the time being. But still, just what a jump there from Jack Hausen. We got a pretty decent-sized lead here for the time being.
He definitely does. One of the big gaps we've seen so far, but you mentioned the draft. That is one key thing. The lanes are equal, 40 to 60 with a range. but it does not matter if there's weekly lanes involved or not. The draft is the key difference maker here at the Brickyard versus other places, and Tampon's going to use that to his advantage, go side by side for the 4th place position. Great one from Tampon. We've not really seen him on the channel in a while, and he's up into the 4th place spot, winning in both special events this weekend. Sam Deal's gonna almost turn Kennington for the second place spot. That 17 was sideways at St. Turn number 4.
Ay, that was almost our 3rd caution of the day. What a save there by the 17 over Ronald Kennington. Samadillo absolutely sent it in there. I think Samadillo might be the faster car. We'll have to see if he can get by the 17. He'll be able to do to the 77 of Jack Haas if he can run him down, but I don't know, Samadillo may be getting a bit frustrated with the 17 of Ronald Kennington, almost booting him out of the way. Got 3 wide there in the back. But luckily, it looks like they're going to sort that out. 3 wide is definitely not what you want to do here, especially going through these corners. So, good thing that they were able to sort that out before coming in here to turn number 3.
Oh yeah, 3 wide is fairly sketchy. 2 wide is just fine. 3 wide, not so much. Doing one in the outside lane, and these guys are starting to spread out here. Tires are getting a little bit older, because most of these guys have not pitted yet, and realistically, if the scene stays green, probably see pit stops around lap 18 to lap 20. Might have been able to save a little bit of fuel. Kennington in second, Jack Haas in the race lead. Sam Dio, Pelton, and Philip Torres runs out the top 5. Great one for Philip Torres here on this restart. And look at some of these drives in the back half of the top 10 and on the edge. We still got Bucky Campbell making one of their first starts here today. Hernandez, Chris Jericho, Ace Racer, about chopped off Chris Jericho. Jordan Stout started deep in the field, he's up front. And same as Joe Kowski, David Ditson. And this is going to get very interesting late in this race, halfway through. And honestly, I think Kennington and Haas might be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, as they are pulling away from Samadillo. And now Samadillo is going to get swamped from behind.
Top 2 have absolutely gapped Samadillo, which now is going to be the 97 of Tanner Parton. He's going to fly by there going into turn number 1, and Samadillo just got absolutely trained by all those guys. You got Philip Torres, Ryan Rooney, and Duncan Ward all in a line tucked behind the 97 of Tanner Parton. Maybe try and get a bit of a draft train here. Have to see if these guys can maybe run down our top 2, but for the time being, they are absolutely on. But we'll have to see. Kennington's been kind of closing up a little bit on the 77 of Hossy's last couple laps. If these two start battling, that could allow some of these cars behind to start closing in, but we'll have to see if they can get to each other and start battling before we get to this cycle of pit stops, because that should be coming up here in not too many more laps time.
Oh yeah, they definitely should be fairly soon, maybe even this time by. I do believe I saw someone on pit road, and as well as the 21 of Eric Alpha making his first start on the channel here today, and he had just had a fuel leak issue, so a lot of mechanical issues here today, and or tire issues, but Philip Torres is going to go side by side for the 3rd place position. The outside lane is decent, almost contact for the 3rd place spot. Top 2 is going to stay out. We should be able to see pit stops here soon. The big wild card is those 2 cautions that we saw. These guys might be able to stretch it a little bit longer than expected. How about Duncan Wood though? Inside the top 5, he might have a shot after pit stops, and look at this train. They are racing so hard for 3rd that these 2 are just drafting away here just past halfway in the birthday bash.
Definitely, these 2 might just be staying in line to try and pull away from the rest of these guys. Kennington might have something for Jack Haas, but he's just doing very smartly to kind of just hang in behind that 77, get the draft, and pull away from the rest of these guys who are absolutely just duking it out amongst themselves. Duncan Ward in the 88 going to move up to 3rd. He's still a little bit wide there, though, going through turn 3. Nicholas Samadillo looking to try and make his way back up into the 3rd position. You got Philip Torres, Ryan Durrani still up here as well. You also got the 36 of Rogel Nord still up here, Tanner Parton, Carson Miller there, all in a line. Definitely have to see when everybody does elect to come down the pit lane. I definitely imagine they're probably going to be coming down any second now at this rate. So we'll have to see what everybody elects to do. And if you're the leaders, you definitely have the upper hand because you could choose to be proactive, and all the rest of these guys will probably end up having to be reactive to what our leaders do. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what everybody does decide to do here under this pit cycle.
Absolutely, and I do think that these guys were able to save a couple of laps because it was initially thought it would be around 16 to 18, and I'm thinking it might be 18 to 20-ish range now. So that's going to be really interesting from what happens here. A lot of double file, and Philip Torres with a massive run down the front stretch. Is he going to think about it? Make it 3-1? He thought about it, I think, but he's going to think better of it. And Duncan was going to stay in the third position for now, and these guys just keep on racing, and these two keep on drafting. They have a 4.5 second lead over these guys. That is absolutely insane, and that's how much the draft is. If you just work together, you can really pull away, and it might just come down to those two here today if we don't get a caution. But the way that these guys are racing from third on back, we might not have pit stops, and we might wreck. Crazy, crazy stuff here at the Brickyard. And still, these guys are not pitting.
They seem to be stretching it a little bit far. I definitely agree with you. I think they definitely did save probably quite a bit under that caution flag, but these guys are still stretching it really, really long. Really starting to wonder when these guys will, in fact, come down, and yeah, who knows if they will even be able to come down under green, because yeah, these guys are racing each other really, really hard, and could potentially still see a caution in this race, probably either before or after pit cycles even. The race is definitely far from over, coming to 10 laps to go this time by. Still got a lot of race left to run, and there's going to be a pit stop somewhere in there. We'll just have to see when it will come.
Oh yeah, there definitely should be a pit stop here today, and this is very interesting on how it's all playing out. But how about Carson Miller making some moves back inside the top 10? But these guys are just doing a very good job staying up front and not really affecting these guys. Sam Dio, Philip Torres, Duncan Ward, all are starting to break away here in this one. And how about Joe Wachowski in the minutes? Well, a move from Dwani from top to bottom. Hernandez inside the top 10. And you got the 48 of Joseph Dam making a good one. Nick Lopez, the 14 of A. Ralford. We got some dogs making some moves late in this one. I'm just impressed that we are still staying out at this point. And the leaders are still staying out. The 44 and 8. And I don't know, maybe, is it possible that they were able to save enough for the entire race? I don't think so, but maybe that is the case here in this one.
I don't know, saving about 12 to 14 laps of fuel at any track is definitely a pretty tall task, especially here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But I don't know, they've already been able to save quite a bit. They've been kind of going... They've been going probably, let's see, about 6 to 8 laps, I think, over what we were expecting, or 4 to 6 laps over what we were expecting. So they've already been able to save quite a bit of fuel. Honestly, don't know. It's really, really intriguing what we're seeing here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Oh yeah, this is very interesting to say the least. The pace has fallen off a little bit, but not as much as I really anticipated. 17 still maintaining the gap between himself and Jack Haas. The 88 is still in third, Philip Torres in fourth, Sam Dio in fifth, Carson Miller in sixth, Bucky Campbell in the seventh position, Tanner Pun in eighth, Hernandez in ninth, and Juan Duran rounds out the top 10. Here comes the third place battle is back on again. There's great battles all over the place here at the Brickyard, and these guys are oh, we won't need pit stops. So I'm gonna go stop them more. And he's gonna slow down right in the middle of the racetrack and gets slammed by the number 12.
Oh, that's a hard hit.
Oh, and we're still wrecking down the front stretch.
We got You got a track blocker. Oh boy.
And honestly, that might be when these guys were finally thinking about doing a pit stop, and whoever was behind the A8 did not really know about it. And now we are under caution for the third time today.
Oh boy. I think I saw some cars just barely make it into the pit lane before the caution came out.
Yeah, 48
The
is down on
48
pit
might have been
road.
one of them. I'm pretty sure this is what we saw out of the 41 of Dylan Matthews last year. I think she came down the pit lane either just after caution came out, and ended up getting the win because of the track position that gained her. So definitely be interesting to see what happens here from Indy. It looks like everybody's staying out. Maybe everybody thinks they can save enough to the end, but not entirely sure. That's still a lot of fuel to save.
Oh boy.
Fascinating scenes here from Indy, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, very fascinating, and that's gonna have a very late race restart here in this one. Can these guys save enough fuel to make it? We just have to wait and see what ends up happening. But that is not what Jack Haas or Ron Kennington wanted to see. As now, they're gonna have to hang on to the race lead with a handful of laps to go. With Philip Torres, Carson Miller is back up to 4th now. Sam Deal, Bucky Campbell, Tanner Pun, Anthony Hernandez, Juan Duani, and Joe Watkowski out of nowhere. How about that? We'll see what ends up happening. I think it might be a 3 or 4 lap shootout to the end here in the 2025 birthday bash. And let's go ahead and see what happens to bring up the third caution of the day in a wild birthday bash here in 2025. Here we go, third caution of the day. Philip Torres got past Duncan Wood on the inside, and Duncan Wood was clear. In his defense, he was clear, but Carson Miller dive bombed it in turn number 4 and absolutely sends it into the A8 of Duncan Wood, and he's gonna go spinning the third caution of the day, all in turn 4. Hard into the outside wall, and this is unfortunately not it, as we're gonna see the number 12 of Nick Lopez coming here when the A8 is in a fairly bad spot in the middle of the racetrack. And right there, a huge shot into the rear end off the ground for both the 12 and the A8. And amazing locomotives from Ben Watson and Andrew Miller. And they were not done wrecking after that though, as something up here, they ended up getting stacked up as the 48. I think the 48 must have gone damaged somehow in that. That stacked up the field. And then they were 3 wide, and oh, boss a minute. Oh my goodness, I don't know what happened to the 31 and the 67. But they ended up going sideways, I guess, and went around themselves. That was weird. And Blossom Minute got hit by Travis Crampton, and this is when the front stretch gets a little bit blocked. And that was weird. Maybe they all had damage, and there's more cars that hit the 12 and the A8 than expected. I'm not entirely sure. That was fairly weird, but a multi-car crash here at Indy.
Well, you see bump and runs at a lot of racetracks. You see them at Bristol, you see them at Martinsville. Don't usually see them here in Indianapolis, and this is probably why. Carson Miller just sends it down the inside, gets into the 88. Duncan Ward spins him up into the wall, and just nowhere to go there for the 12 of Nick Lopez. Slams into the 88, and then a chain reaction here down the front straightaway as everybody's scrambling at this point to try and avoid the accident and try and stay off of each other. Fortunately, it didn't quite work out that way, and I think it was a 67 that had contact with the 31 that set that whole thing off down the front straightaway. But pretty big accident here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, spanning from turn 4 to the front straightaway. And this is definitely going to be really interesting because this is going to set us up here for a late race restart here from Indianapolis. And on top of that, nobody came down the pit lane. So I have to see if these guys can make it on fuel, or is this just going to turn into the Xfinity Series race we saw at Rockingham? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll see if these guys can make it on fuel. We've had enough caution laps that maybe I guess they can stretch it. But it's going to be a full lap shootout regardless, and we'll see what happens late in the 2025 birthday bash. Welcome back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and welcome back to the 2025 birthday bash. It's definitely been an interesting race to say the least. 3 cautions now, and somehow the majority of the field has not gone down pit road, and honestly, they might be saving enough fuel to somehow make it with these caution laps. We just have to wait and see. But that was not the caution that Jack Haas or Warren Cunnington wanted to see. And we'll see what ends up happening on this late race restart with 4 laps to go at the line. Duncan Woodhill was running inside the top 5, top 10. He's now out. And the same with Nick Lopez, who slammed into the 88 machine in turn number 4, the trouble turn here today. And we'll see what ends up happening on this late race restart. Can these guys save enough fuel? We've had 3 caution laps, and this is a big racetrack where they could save enough. But do they have enough in the tank for 4 more laps at the brickyard? Can special event Haas get another special event win here today? Or will Warren Cunnington, the poster, be able to hang on for the race win? Or will one of these guys outside the top 5 behind them, or inside the top 5 behind them, steal it? Pace car is on pit road for the final time today in a wild NR2003 birthday bash. And here we go. Jack Haas, Warren Cunnington, and Philip towards the top 3, back going for the restart. A good restart from from Jack Haas. And here we go. 4 laps to go. Here comes Philip towards the inside of Cunnington.
Good jump there from Torres to the inside of Kennington, looking to take that second position away. And if I'm Jack Haas, that's definitely not what I wanted to see, because that's going to break the draft that pretty much got the 2 of them pulled away from the rest of the field in the first place. And now, here comes the 44. Philip Torres is going to have the draft of the 77 to Haas. Nicholas Samadillo is also going to clear for 3rd. You got the 3rd Miller looking to get to the inside for 4th, and the 17 of Kennington is absolutely falling back there on that outside lane. But coming to 3 laps to go this time by. We'll have to see if Philip Torres has anything here for the 77 of Jack Haas. Samadillo got a great run there off of turn number 4. Going to stay tucked in the line for the time being. Does he make a move going into 1? No, he doesn't. He stays tucked in behind the 44 of Torres. Maybe looking to try and make a run at the 77 of Jack Haas.
Jack Haas definitely has a great car with clean air, but honestly, Samadillo might have a really good car late. Here we go. Samadillo going to try and get past the 44 here into turns 3 and 4. And this is exactly what he needs to do. If he gets past Philip Torres here, he will have 2 laps to do it. Torres,
yeah, the back of the corner entry up.
That's not going to be good for Samadillo there. He's going to get another good one off turn 4. Got close to the middle right behind him. But it's looking really good for Jack Haas here with 2 laps to go and 5 miles left in the birthday bash.
Forming up pretty well here. They got a great run there down the front straightaway. Torres almost looked to try and jump out of line, maybe go for a move, but thought better of it just at the last second. Unfortunately, that did kind of check the line up a little bit, but they're all formed up. They get that momentum back really quickly, and they are closing on the 77 to Jack Haas, especially here down these long straightaways. They can get a good 3 and 4 here. Torres might have a shot up and down the front straightaway. And Torres does have a pretty good turn 3. He's pulling up to the back bumper of Jack Haas. And now the question is, can he get him and can he save enough? Here we go off of turn number 4. That was a great corner from Torres. Here he comes as we come to the white flag.
Jack Haas is dominated. Philip Torres is going to do a slingshot move. He's going to send it in 1 and 2. And he's going to get clear. Philip Torres is clear, but he has 3 more turns to go. And last lap pass, Haas still has a half a track to build up a momentum once again.
That
this
was
is not over.
Great run off of turn number 2.
This is
He's
not
pushing
over.
to the inside, down the back.
He's gonna get back to the inside. Torres trying to block.
Dive bomb by Jack Haas.
A dive bomb. He's gonna do the crossover. He's back out front. Does Philip Torres have anything for the one to the front stretch? 2 passes for the lead on the final lap. He is still there. He can get the draft off of the front stretch. He's gonna be close, but not close enough. Special event Haas, Jack Haas wins the 2025 birthday bash.
What a finish.
Whew. Wow. I was not expecting that. 2 last lap passes, and I think we just had a caution at the end.
Uh-oh.
I think we might have let on the final lap. You guys will see what happened there, but what a finish right there. Philip Torres caught Jack Haas, passed him in turn 1, and then Jack Haas did the same thing and passed him in turn 3. What a finish. And that is why we call this track the greatest racetrack in the world, for finishes like those. And somehow they were all able to save enough fuel.
How about that?
What a finish.
Man. What a finish, and such a deserved win there for the 77 of Jack Haas. He absolutely dominated this race, and even after getting past there, he wasn't going to let that one slip away, and he absolutely went after the 44 of Torres there going into turn number 3. A great move. Got back down on the inside and got back past to claim what I would say is definitely rightfully his. Man, what a race here from Indy, and what a win for Jack Haas. I think I'd agree with you. I think this track definitely still will uphold its claim of the greatest racetrack in the world. What a race here from Indianapolis.
Not a lot of racetracks can you have 2 passes for the race lead in 1 lap. Obviously the super speedways, but other than that, there's not many others that do that. Maybe Pocono, a similar track to this with long straightaways, but not many can do of what we just saw here today. What a race. And honestly, for a split second, I thought Philip Torres was going to get another one, and we might have been side by side to the line. But great one from Philip Torres, great one from Jack Haas. Same with Dio in 3rd, Colson Miller in 4th, Tampon in 5th, Wally Connington gets 6th, Anthony Hernandez in 7th, Bucky Campbell in 8th, Local Thorne in 9th, and how about Alexander Rowe rounds out the top 10. What a race here today for the NR2003 birthday bash. We saw 3 cautions, and I guess 4 technically at the end. You guys see that happening on the last lap, but only 4 cars were really out of the race, so it's not a wet fest like it was last year. Even though we had multiple cautions, not a lot of cars were out. Duncan Moore, Nick Lopez, and Campbell Marsh with accidents, and then Eric Alpha with a fuel leak, and ended up being 17 laps down on pit road. And what a way to kick off the weekend here, and what a way to continue the weekend. We had the Red Lion Oil Cup Series race yesterday at Richmond, and then birthday bash today, and that was a really good race here. And like Kev said, the most deserving driver won this race, or one of the most deserving, along with Walt Connington. And then we got the Krispy Kreme National Series race tomorrow at Talladega tomorrow night. This is the Ultimate Awareness 500. And then, of course, on Sunday is the JBL Cup Series race at Talladega. What's a final thoughts, Kev, from a crazy finish for the 2025 birthday bash?
That was a very interesting but very awesome race. We saw a lot of great racing here. Of course, throughout the field, of course, we saw the top 2 pull away, but that doesn't mean we saw some great racing, like I said, throughout the entire field. And definitely some very interesting pit strategy here today. Definitely a lot different from the strategy that we usually see, but hey, good thing that these guys were able to save enough, because that was an absolutely spectacular finish to top it all off. Just a great race here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on this absolutely spectacular day. Happy birthday, man! And yeah, like I said, honored to have been up here for this one. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely a great day for all those reasons, but besides that, that was a fantastic race here, and that is why we have this special event at the Brickyard. This track cuts, and you don't see finishes like that anywhere else. Great win from Jack Haas. Another special event win. What can I say? That's really now within the last year, and really within the last like 6 months, 5-6 months. So that's kind of crazy. You might have to say, okay, well, Jack Haas is gonna win this special event, but great race here, and we got a jam-packed race weekend here on NS Race 97, and congratulations to Jack Haas on the race win, and we will see you guys tomorrow and Sunday at Talladega Super Speedway here on the channel.